of a society is the family. It is embedded in us and we know it. I'm not saying something we don't know. We already know these things. But there's a downside to it. And that is where this guy's DM sprung from. I have with me in the studio a guest. How do you feel?
Good.
Feel good?
Yeah.
All right. So you've been listening to me talk about this for so long.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts?
What you just spoke about?
Yeah.
When you first started speaking, because you kind of touched on how Nigerian families work as a system.
Yeah.
But then I was curious for you, because it sounds as though for the system to work, your individual dreams get put aside for the greater good of the family. Does that make sense? Like you would have to pass them off if they came at the expense of the family.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Right. So, but I was curious for people who live abroad. Does this create like a divide in them? Because I think when you go abroad, you tend to fulfill a bit of an individual purpose or dreams type of thing.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that you leave behind your family. You still support them. You still work towards the family unit.
Yeah.
But do you think the advice would be different between those who stay in Nigeria and those who go abroad? Or do you think it's still...
I think that it would intensify for people who go abroad. It shouldn't intensify, but it would. It oftentimes does, because moving abroad comes with a lot of things as well. Out of sight is out of mind. There's that one. I wouldn't call it resentment. I'll call it a new identity. If you move abroad, it's not just you moved abroad and you're back the same. No, you have a new identity.
Yeah.
Because you're no longer local. That comes with an expectation. There's something that is expected of you. And there is something you're showing. You're proving to the people back home that I have another me that you never knew that is out there.
Okay.
Right. So, from the point of moving abroad, you have a new identity that comes with expectations, that come with, like, there's a saying, Ade dobelonye jebelo onechano. What that means is, if you, like, you know how they share food in homes, because I grew up, having, when they cook, they're sharing plates for everyone. Yeah. And then for each plate, let me say rice, fried rice. For each plate comes a piece of meat. Yeah. Right? So, if you go to Onitsha, let's say you stay in Enugu, or you travel to Onitsha, or you're coming from Onitsha, you're coming home, or you went to somewhere, they will not keep meat for you.
Okay.
For two reasons. Yeah. You went to Onitsha. You went out. So we don't even know if you're coming back. Okay. We might keep food for you. Yeah. But Ano, which is the crown, which is that meat, is reserved for the people who are there. Because one, it's believed that Onitsha is the land where you have meat in abundance.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So, they don't keep it for you. Because one, we don't know if you're coming back. And we know that where you went to, there's meat. So why should we keep for you? So the one available was split it because there's something. You're getting a similar thing or more. There's abundance there. So you should get from there. And that is and I think that is what translates into such scenarios, in the sense that you left home because the meat available is not enough. There's abundance of meat where you're going. So it's not just that we know or we hope that you're getting enough there. It's that we also expect you to bring home some of that meat.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And most of our uncles and fathers were able to fulfill that when it was the mass migration era going to Europe. It was always Europe or the US. It's assumed that there's a tree in abroad where you pluck money. A lot of our families still believe that.
Yes.
And so it comes with an expectation. And with that expectation comes disappointments. Once you expect anything, whether it comes in full or short, there will always be room for disappointment, because it might come in full or in a different way, different timing. Right? So I think it's even more for people who are abroad, because they are disconnected. So that crush or that collapse of the family structure is even more because there are people abroad.
From what I see, though, I think in earlier days when people would go abroad, it would be more for the purpose of go abroad, make money, send it back, and eventually go back to enjoy what you sent back.
Yeah.
So these days, you would also see people go abroad and decide to settle abroad, raise their families abroad, and most likely the next generations would also stay abroad. So then between those two different types of abroad people, there would again be different sense of responsibility, would you say?
Yeah. So, and of course, we're seeing these days that most people that travel abroad stay. It's like they make abroad their home and then visit home.
We're defining the difference.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The difference is it's quite obvious. So being abroad puts that collapse thing at a higher rate. Because as much as there's the top-down influence, there's also the cross-sectional dynamics. But even though two people who live in the same house, they grew up in the same house, still end up having friction. Now, imagine if there's distance. For instance, I'll give you an example. You travel and say, leave this thing for me, I'm coming back for it. Most times when you come back, that thing is gone.
Yeah.
It could be a TV, it could be chair, couch. Like, they know you're not coming back for like 2, 3, 5, 10 years. But in the 4th month, they'll look and be like, this chair is sitting here. This guy is not, even if he comes back, he's not going to need it. They'll just sell it or use it, right?
Yeah.
So I think that also scales as well to like property. Property. And so the person that traveled abroad is expected to buy their own property. Whatever is left will be shared amongst those that don't have. In fact, he's expected to even bring the money to develop the one they shared. So that's why I said the expectation is quite high. Simply because they moved abroad. And it is that realization that, of course, some people have seen other people's stories. That even when they try to compensate for all those things, oh, I've traveled and I'm back and I'm giving back, it's still not enough, because the expectation is often very much higher than they are able to. So a lot of people will now choose to say, I'd rather just sell abroad. Because when I go home, they are no longer family. If that makes sense. And I can buttress more on that, but there's something you want to say. Yeah.
I just had a question.
Yeah.
And this is for whether you're back home or abroad.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be a fair statement to say that you are respected more for what you're willing to give up for the family rather than what you're willing to gain for the family?
Gain? Yeah.
Are you respected more for what you're willing to give up or what you're willing to gain?
What you're willing to give up.
What you're willing to
on top of giving up, what you're willing to give. So it's very common that, even there's a saying that I don't know how to say it, but what it means is that burying the father is not only the first son's duty.
Mm-hmm.
It can be anybody. Whoever has money should do it. But inheriting father's property is the first son's duty.
That's
you see.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a bit deeper than that. It's very much deeper. And what I was going to say is this. The person that traveled abroad, that chose to settle or whatever, and then comes back, they are oftentimes not well received. And I saw this firsthand. I had this friend, she's South African, in Korea. She's been in Korea for I think 4 or 5 years then. She wanted to go back to actually go see her grandma and the family because she was an orphan. Her mom and dad passed years earlier. So she went. So before she went, I'm like, are you sure you are ready to go and see family back home? They will welcome me. I was buying things, I'm like, okay, look. So she went back. Her plan was to stay for 1 month. But she didn't communicate that with them. Because in their head, they believe that, oh, you are back. 2 weeks, you are gone. You've gone back to where you came from. It's an expectation. Mm-hmm. So when you travel, they expect you to bring your resources and go back to keep getting resources because they've built that relationship with you. In fact, even if you don't have those resources anymore, the new relationship they now have with you is that you have to be there, you have to be away. They've had to condition themselves to relate with you as someone who visits. You're no longer someone who lives. So she wanted to stay for a month. In the second week, guess what? Her family is asking her, the grandma asked her, when will you go back? It's like, yeah, I'm still gonna stay. I'm enjoying South Africa, blah, 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 blah. Grandma's like, no. Go back. She felt bad. The auntie who raised her as the mom said something similar. We're happy you're here, but there's really nothing for you here. So she was like, oh yeah, I'm actually thinking of gradually this, moving back permanently. I'm like, no, stay there. Find a husband there. Live there. She felt rejected. Like, I came home with boxes of gifts for you people. You've welcomed them. You're happy to see me. Oh my God, I miss you so much. It's barely 2 weeks and you want me to leave. And that's what I told her. I said, that's what's going to happen. So she came back depressed.
Understandably.
right? So, and that is what plays out. I was able to tell her that because I've seen it. In fact, I've been a part of the people that are at home, and then that person comes back. You're excited. And you're like, gotta go back. Because we don't know you as someone who is here. You gotta go back for us to have that relationship. Yeah. And it's very depressing. So for such people, because they've conditioned their mind that you gotta go back, therefore there's nothing for you here. So whatever is yours, they'll take. Even the ones you got yourself. There are families that do that. You send money for them to build a house for you because they've conditioned their mind that you now live abroad. So whatever you're bringing here is not yours. It's got to be ours. They build that house in their name. So when you come back, some people have been buyed. I mean because they came back and they want to stay back. I know. Because they've conditioned their lives based on your resource and your absence. So if you come back, that resource won't, come again, and you're now taking up a space.
So, do you think there's like a point in time or understanding? And we're going to reference this to men now.
Reference what?
Reference this question to men. I don't think it will apply to women, but maybe. Where there's like a boundary of this part is for me, but there's still a responsibility to my family. Like, is there a point you come to? Is there a mindset you come to? Is there a boundary you laid down? Is there a time frame?
As it makes sense to me, right? It's not something, it's not a time frame thing. I think it's a family dynamic thing.
Okay.
There are families that are strong like a cult. There are families that are more military structured. Like it's a hierarchy thing. There are families that are just anything goes. So if I'm to reference our own, I think our own is more hierarchy thing, but that hierarchy has been broken. Right. And that's a consequence of building your family as a hierarchy. Once the top goes, the next person assumes, oh, I'm now in charge. But they don't know that they were respected because there was a top. There will be challenge at different levels. But that's, by the way, my point is this. Based on the family structure, it would turn out differently. So for the person abroad, it's not a timing thing, but it's also something that you need to either accept and work to, try to work out, or accept and move on. How that looks like is this. Typically, okay, you grew up in Enugu, child out, blah, 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 blah. Everything's good. And then you travel. So when it's time for you to come back, oftentimes those people, they don't come back to the same Achalao. They might move to Delta State. They are now they have a whole new life there. They have a whole new life there. Got their thing going. I think the problem is coming back and then trying to find a position for yourself in what back looks like, maybe in the village or in the family. That's where that tension happens. But if you come back and you still maintain that distance, that relationship could still thrive. I think once that distance is created, it has to be maintained for a good relationship to occur. Like if I go back now, there's a high likelihood that I would deliberately say, no, I'm giving you distance. You live there, I live there. because we can't come back again. Because you've grown in ways that my distance supported, whether directly or indirectly. In the same way, I've grown based on that distance. So if we come back, there's a high likelihood that I'll ruin things for you or you ruin things for me, or both could happen.
So what I'm hearing is that the choice to go abroad comes with the understanding and decision that once I leave, things won't be like this.
Yes, that's it.
Accept that on departure.
Yes.
Or more than that. Agree that, whatever process that looks like.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think most guys understand it. Most guys, of course, you see what's happening here. There's someone we both know that is bringing in people from Iran. Yeah. You know, so I mean, it's real.
Okay.
You know, because it's all about interest. Yeah. Imagine there are parents and families that support their sons doing online scam.
But I think that advice you gave before, it to me sounded like you were advising people to write a family playbook. Particularly for those who choose to stay back home. Sounds like a great idea, but also resourceful for those who come abroad. For anyone, really.
Yeah. I mean, if you're abroad, you also write yours. And
it's also for your family to come rather than your family you came from.
Both. Because let's say I use me, I'm here. Yeah. Let's assume my dad is alive. And he started writing a family playbook from early on. And somehow I come back and there's tension between whoever and whoever. But because it's something we all read or something we all see, you can relate back to this is what kept us. Because I think when you get to the point where you forget, it's because you can't really recall the past, what really kept the family together. Like, and this is something I want to discuss on the next live about generational wealth. A lot of families were started for the wrong reasons. Not that they married the wrong person, but the family was started for the wrong reason. It is later on, 20 years down the line, 10 years down the line, 15, that the man realizes that I should have started this family for that reason. Not that I married the wrong person, but I should have started this family for that, not this. And what that looks like is often generational wealth. Most families are started because the man is a businessman. I want my children to be educated. They start off with giving the children what they don't have. I want to give this child what I never had. Like, how can you give someone what you don't have?
Coming from a place of lack.
From a place of lack. But then they start trying those things. And that kid is growing based on the man and the woman striving, going against their own nature, hustling to give that child those things. Right? And that child grows with that thing. Then you wake up 20 years later and you look and be like, damn, that thing that was giving me the money and the resources to be able to provide that is what this child should take over. Because if I die, that thing dies. And this child has grown in that area, is growing in that area. They'll still use that one to raise another child with a different lack. Because with achieving, for instance, I'm a businessman. I have my children. I want them to be educated, doctor, lawyer, engineer, or whatever. they don't join my business. So from that business, I make resources to invest in them so that they can become that. And this one becomes a doctor. When I die, this business dies. Now there's a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
He uses the money as a doctor to raise a footballer. When he dies, doctor dies, football.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at the generation, over 5 or 6 generations. It's wealth was built, died, built, died. And oftentimes, there's a high likelihood that the next expectation of wealth would die. And this is if the doctor makes it, and if the footballer makes it. That is even if doctor makes it, businessman makes it, footballer makes it, and on and on and on and on. There's no generational wealth.
Yeah, I think as an individual or even as a couple, a married couple, wherever your wealth line is starting from, particularly if you don't come from there, you really have to define what generational wealth is to you.
Is it what it is to you or what it is?
But there's too many different definitions these days because it's almost like just an overused word these days. Everyone talks about generational wealth. But I think there's a lot of responsibility that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes with teaching the generation under you how to continue it and grow it.
And that is it. Continue it.
Yeah, you'll likely raise, if you go off social media's idea of generational wealth, you'll likely raise entitled kids who just know inheritance.
Exactly.
And not the burden that comes with it.
Exactly.
Or the whys or the importance of wills and legalities around it and all this.
Yeah. And that is why I said it's in the continuing that it becomes generational.
It takes one person to squander generational.
Yeah.
It takes one person.
One person.
To get it wrong.
But if you have that family playbook,
or
you can lower
one in-law even.
You can lower this microphone. Keep going. Yeah, it's better.
Yeah.
So it is in the continuing that the problem is. That's why journaling or writing a will, something, is not something you just write. It's something you continue. It's not, when I die, this person should take this. If when I die, this person should take. No, it's a plan that should be strategically developed in the sense that as the children grow, they understand the mission. They understand the agenda.
Yeah, it's not just free wealth. Remember I told you about an uncle I have and his wealth, I'll say, is for his children, obviously, but it's tied to clauses.
Thank you.
If you go out and have a baby outside of marriage or before finishing school or whatever, he's got his own clauses.
Yeah.
It's coming at a cost to you.
It's something exactly.
We had this conversation a while ago, I remember.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think it seems to some people it appears mean or controlling, but this person's just worked their whole life to create wealth to pass on to their children and their grandchildren in hopes that they would take on the mantle and continue that legacy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it can easily be squandered, especially in the West.
Yes.
With the way, I guess, the influence on children here and being raised here. But, I'm sure it can happen back home too. It only takes one greedy person or a wife in somebody's ear or whatever the downfall is.
Yeah. and that is that's the beauty of it. If I'm to chime in, with that structure that looks mean, what it looks like is the fact that it looks mean is because the person doesn't understand it.
Yeah.
So, and because you don't understand it,
all the more reason.
the more reason you should have it.
Yeah.
Because this person that built that wealth knows how to sustain it. At least he's the adult, he's the oldest, he's the father. You're young.
Mm.
You know TikTok. That's good. But you don't know farming. You don't know real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the wealth is coming from, for you to be able to have that sneakers you're rocking. So it makes sense that because you don't understand it, that's why you should comply.
I think there's nuances to it too, though. Like, I think if you end up raising kids who all look at you feeling entitled to your wealth, you have to question how you raised them.
And that is what I'm saying.
That they didn't feel any responsibility by the time it got to inheritance.
This thing played out with me.
Yeah.
You know why? This is why I said a lot of people have families, start families for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
Okay, my dad, engineer, businessman, he started his family wanting. From day one, I don't think he knew where he would be or how big he would be. He was still working for people as an assistant or something, and then he got married. Why he started a family is because I like this woman and I want to have children and I want to raise them and give them opportunities. What is that opportunity? It wasn't clear. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's his fault, but what was communicated to mom is give them opportunities. In mom's head, I'll have a son that is a doctor, a son that is this one, a daughter that is that one, right? A footballer, priest, all these things. But over time, as more children came, dynamics, the man matured, and resources started becoming more structured in his business as an engineer. Started making sense to him that, oh, those opportunities I'm hoping that they'll find, that's what I'm creating. So I want these children to follow this path. And what that would look like is that all my children will be engineers and businessmen. That became his clear vision now at that time. But mom wouldn't have that. Because what she understood in the beginning, I'll have a doctor, I'll have a priest, I have engineer, I have this one, lawyer. She wanted Casey to be a lawyer, wanted me to be a doctor and all that. And it's not just I want them, whoever can choose. No, it's that this one will be doctor, that one will be this one will be that one. But dad had that idea of everyone would be this.
Yeah.
In this, you can create new branches that enhance that overall thing. Not that you will go AWOL, like just do your thing. It's under this business you can add value to that route. So, and it played out that way because I remember my mom crying when I told her that I'll be an engineer. She was fine with Chekube being engineer, but me, she wanted me to be a doctor, and I said engineer. So it plays out like that when there's no understanding of what the agenda is between the man and the woman, and it's often inevitable because the vision is often not as clear. It's often not clear in the beginning for the man. For the and because it's not clear, that the woman sees it, once she sees that blurry lines of, yes, these children will be great, but you're not telling me the type of greatness. Is it footballer great or pastor great? What type of greatness would these children be? And she's excited. I will be a great children. So in her head, she's allowed to create the greatness she wants to see, which oftentimes doesn't align with the type of greatness the man sees. Mm-hmm. And so that's usually what happens. Hence why I said that planning, that family playbook needs to be strategically improved. in inclusion, because the type of parents you are when the child is born is different from when that child is 5, and when that child has siblings, and when you are 45.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you keep evolving, and with that, the vision needs to be communicated and clear, not just to both of you as partners, but as well to the children, to the capacity they can handle.
I think children should need to first be contributing to the wealth before they're able to take from the wealth.
Exactly. And that's why I said they should be included.
Yeah.
Because I remember I started going to my dad's workshop after school from like around 7. Around 7.
Yeah.
And that continued up until he died.
Okay.
So if you ask me, did you really want to be an engineer? I didn't know how. I think I was groomed into being an engineer. You see? So,
first time I've heard that statement.
You see? So it's like, I think I was groomed into it.
But that's okay.
And that is okay.
You don't seem resentful about it.
And that is right.
Yeah. But it could have been too that your dad saw that in you, because it fits you well, to be honest.
Guess what? He didn't see it in me.
He didn't see it in you?
No, I'll tell you. Because the person he saw it in was Chekube.
Okay.
My immediate. That is his junior.
Mm.
And he was born looking like my dad.
Yeah.
And he gave him his name. Right?
Yeah.
The guy was sent to a government technical college at 10. He had to enter the bus.
Okay.
Me, I went to a private school.
Yeah.
He went to a government technical college where you start from 10, and by 16, you are ready as an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
So that vision, he saw it in him because he was way smarter as, as children. Every term, first position, looked like him. He was so convinced this one is my heir. And he invested in that. Right? But it was over time I started seeing, okay, it's not just about looking like him. It's not just about being first. It's also about the type of influence that child has. Mm-hmm. You're expecting these things from this child. This school you're sending that child, have you looked at it now? You looked at it from how he understood that school years ago. It's a new dynamic. So, he entered that school, made wrong friends. He's the only one there. There's no check. There's nobody to mentor him in that school. So he kind of derailed, even though he ended up still being an engineer, but he didn't passionately seek that.
Yeah.
So, but me, on the other hand, I went to a private school where I was supposedly going to be the doctor. But because after school, he mandated everybody. After school, come. A lot of us didn't, most times we didn't really, obey. Mm-hmm. The main person he was hoping that would come back and come would always stay away until evening. In his head, he's in school. And because the school is far, like, okay. Because every day he goes to that school, he's learning there what I want him to learn. Therefore, it's okay. But he didn't know that he was staying away from. And because I went to a private school where the principal would insist that once it's 2 p.m., go home. Once it's 3 p.m., he will drive around the whole suburb. He sees you in a school uniform. He will identify you. The next day, fish you out in school and flog you. That was my reality. Mm. Peter, Sapi, that man was brutal. Flog you on the back. Like once it's 3 p.m., he will drive. He will wear the school uniform. During school hours, he will wear school uniform so that when he's passing, you won't recognize him. So you would think it's a student passing, but it's the school principal. There was order. And it transcended from the school to the streets.
Yeah.
So now you had to go home.
He took his job seriously.
He took it seriously. And then what that meant for me was after school, go home. And you can't go home and just stay at home. You have to go to the workshop. So what that looked like for me was even when I didn't want to go, I couldn't. I ended up still being in that same environment. And that kind of helped that grooming process. See, I'm not.
Yeah.
So, not that I really understood the agenda as a child. It's that the environment conditioned me to align with the agenda. See, Amber?
So would you say your dad did a great job at getting you to submit to him?
Yes.
But maybe he lacked in passing on skills to navigate things once he's gone?
Yes.
Or teaching more of a leadership role?
No, he taught leadership roles.
Okay.
But he didn't prepare for inheritance.
Yeah, okay.
He didn't prepare for independent autonomy.
Yeah.
So that's why I said that he started the family with the wrong reason. Not that he deliberately did or that he wasn't reasonable. It's that he's young. He married at 23.
I think he also obviously didn't expect to pass so young. So
exactly.
The problem is we often think we have time.
Yeah, because even when he passed, before he passed, I started also seeing a change, like a level of maturity. Even he started communicating differently. Like I was the child that I was the son that he would wake up by 12 a.m. and say, let's design this. I got this gig. Let's design this. I see you're good with technical drawing.
Yeah.
And I was in uni then, first year, early second year. So he started seeing that, okay, this boy is coming up. This boy is really doing this engineering thing, even better than me, because he's a very great artist, writes well, paints well, draws well. But he's seeing that I'm able to use compass and ruler and this and construct things with dimension, label them.
You're in architect.
Yeah.
I always tell you that.
and he's not a great architect.
Yeah.
So he would carry the architectural designs and produce it.
Yeah.
So if he needed something new to design by himself and there's no drawing, come. And then he would just drop a sample, maybe this cup. I will use veneer. Take those, measure them, and then draw them. So from that, we developed a new type of relationship where it's now like
collaborative.
Exactly. So, and with that came things like promises. I see you going far in this business. Guess what? There's this service, NYSC. I wasn't supposed to do it. I was supposed to, as soon as I graduate, join my dad. And this is what he told me in front of one old man there and said, Ochugu, when you graduate, I'll make you a co-owner of this business. He told me this in my second year, first semester. That should be 2007 or 2008, told me, said, once you graduate, I'll make you co-owner so that we can push this business. And he wasn't saying that as, oh, you're so great. I want to reward you. No, it's a duty. So that's why I said at that time he started realizing the goal is to pass wealth generationally. And then while he was saying all those things, I could see that regret that this should have been maybe the first son, the second son, third son, and all that. It should have been what he was supposed to do with them. But he was hard on them. He was because he was younger, he had the energy, he was so passionate, about raising children that doctor, this, that, this. It was over time that he realized that you really want to pass on generational wealth, which he now has. Because as at then, he wasn't really that wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
Now later that he's now seeing. So he couldn't draw them back in at that time. So I guess maybe at that point he felt lucky that, okay, at least one is able to, like, he's showing interest.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what's played out then. And then he passed.
Mm-hmm.
So even at the point of realizing it, he couldn't play catch up. Maybe because he's he has a typewriter.
Yeah.
He was a clerk for a German company for years. So maybe he saw that he would still need to do the work of typing and all these things. If he had the tools of today, it's just turn on camera, record.
Yeah.
Even if it, here. And I think there are more opportunities today for us to make things better.
Yeah.
Compared to back then, yeah.
There is, but there's also, I think, added adversities as well. So
Yep.
it's a mix. Different challenges to that generation as well.
Yeah, because our generation, we're the ones who are the most obedient. I think so. Very obedient, because we had parents that they really just wanted us to obey. And if you disobeyed, you saw the consequences.
Yeah.
But the Gen Z now, there's no obedience. It's if I like you, I can work with you.
Yeah, it's a different time though. I think this generation, they have a lot. It's weird. They have a lot more to worry about, but they also have a lot less to worry about, because especially if you look at the West, for example, there's social security and things that will catch you.
Yep.
Safety nets.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you're not just dealing with do this or this will be the consequence. You've got 100 different backup options.
Yeah.
And expression. There's just so many different factors.
You're right. And with that comes, I wouldn't call it opportunities, but options. That's why I said earlier that this generation outsource families instead of nurturing families. Yeah. They somehow, if dad doesn't do this for me, I can replace him with CPS. If my brother doesn't do this for me, I can replace him or her with TikTok.
But at what cost?
And that is what they don't know. And that is what nobody is talking about. Mm-hmm. The cost is oftentimes heavier and lingered and more uncertain than we know, because it's something we would have to find out. Some of them we would have to find out. Some we can forecast, some we can predict and be like, this could happen. But there are more. Nobody saw COVID happen. Nobody saw, not COVID as the virus, but the dynamic of responding to COVID. Nobody saw it, that we are able to actually live like this in isolation. Nobody was prepared. So if we're able to do that and we didn't envision it, there are things that would come from this dynamic that we, one, don't envision, we don't know how to handle, or we would have to handle it.
I think your platform creates a good space to navigate that or bridge the gap.
Hopefully.
Conversation.
Hopefully. Yeah. There you go. I think it's almost 2 hours. Knock it off on 2. It's past 8 o'clock. So yeah. I mean, the top and bottom of it is that it's hard to model it's hard to understand and it's hard to communicate.
Yes.
It's hard to communicate because I think it's that hardness that push people into frustration and then responding negatively. Because I know this may not be a reality for you, you've never heard of it, but I've seen families go against one another.
Mm-hmm.
What that looks like as going against is brother killing. You know, I've seen it play out. You know,
That's sad.
yeah, I've seen it play out. You know, and not that people are bad, this, that. I think it's more so about it's the frustration that pushed them into that. You know, because when you bottle up emotions, you're feeling things you can't understand. You know, you've got to let it out somehow. And envy is real, and mental illness is real. Like, remember everything we're talking about. We've not included things like one's behavior or one's personal issues.
Yeah.
Because if I have a brother that is a soldier, it's different from having a brother that is a gangster. You know, those things would also play out. And if I have a sister that is a stripper or a sister that is a nun, different dynamic. Or even a sister that is a nun that wants to be a stripper, or a stripper that wants to. Our desires also come into play, and who we are with the other also play roles.
So, do you think that there would be an advice for people navigating this right now that could be advice to all of them, or do you think every advice has to be individual to each situation? Like if someone's watching and they could be back home and they're about to go abroad, and they're about to face all of this. Is there an advice you could give them, or?
Yeah. That advice would be to assume it will come with a whole lot of assumptions. Mm-hmm. But a major assumption there is to assume that your ultimate purpose is not tied to solving every problem. Your ultimate purpose is to solve a problem. And that problem has to be as a consequence of your existence or a consequence of your desire or drive. So you've got to put that at the top of your priority. And oftentimes, the person wanting to travel, the traveling in itself is more important than staying. So it is in that traveling that, first of all, by assumption, it's like certain initial conditions for that to play out. In my own case, the initial setting was to zero all commitments in Nigeria. You know, zero. All, not some. All. Quit your job. Sell your business. Sell your car. Leave these clothes behind. Give these shoes out. Sell your TV. You know? Break up with this person. Like these are real. Because there are things you don't want to do. So the initial setting is break up all commitments. But the hardest I found is to break up commitment to people, humans. But to things is easy. I can't even remember the shoes I was wearing now. I don't even remember who I gave what to.
Mm.
There are things I had, I can't remember having them because I had to let them go. So it's the people that we hold on to, thanks to phones, right?
Yeah.
And so if you try to break up everything so that you come in there as a clean canvas, oftentimes it's not the case. Because where you're going, you don't know anybody there. Take your time to develop what's it called? New relationships. And in that meantime, you're still stuck to. That's why I said that it's the people that went to abroad in the 90s that set the tone for the expectation and what we suffer today. Because when they went, there were no phones.
Yeah.
So even when they were holding on to those relationships of back home, they couldn't communicate. The desire to reunite was stronger, even to their own detriment. See, I'm now. And so that is something that if you want to travel to today, break up all commitments, but don't try to break up commitments to the people. Don't try to. You can't even, because you have a machine in your hand that will even stop you from that.
But is it like the conversation we had the other day about how there's a door you have to go through?
How what?
There's a door you have to go through.
Yeah.
And it can only fit you.
Can only fit you, yes.
Right. And a lot of people will see it as you're leaving them behind.
Yeah.
Which in some sense you are.
Yeah.
But it's so that you can, I want to say, come back for them later without putting an expectation on how you come back later and who you bring later. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's individual to the person, the family dynamic and whatnot.
Mm.
But I think that concept of the door is something that comes up in stages in life.
Yes.
You go through a door, you can't take anybody with you. That's how you're going to get ahead. You can come back for people or reconnect with people.
Yes.
Later in life, you'll find another door.
Yes.
It comes in stages.
In stages.
And at different costs.
At different
times.
Different sizes of door.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, the smaller you keep going, it becomes smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
And not to poke holes at what you said.
Mm-hmm.
You said something, get ahead. That language.
Yeah.
That language, get ahead. To you, it's nothing. But that is what the people at home would perceive. Getting ahead. And that is what nurtures some of the resentment.
But the alternative is that I stay here and none of us get ahead. So that's perspective for those two.
Yeah. That is what happens. So if you stay, everybody suffers. Yeah. But one crab wants to step out of it. Mm-hmm. The rest want to try to do that. The rule of thumb is when you want to travel, don't tell anybody. I did that. I didn't even tell my mom where I was going. Like that morning, Ugo, can I be in Nigeria? Where are you going? She was crying. Like somehow she knew. I'm just going. I'm just traveling to Abuja. I'll be back. Don't worry. You know? But I knew I wasn't. You know, I'm leaving. But why I didn't tell her was, I tell you, you tell everybody. Yeah. And then I wouldn't know who, you know?
That's where the danger comes in.
Exactly. And so it's very depressing. It's very serious. So hence why when I see some people, or I wouldn't say some people, the host country, how they treat the immigrants, they don't understand what the reality is for that person.
Yeah.
You know, they don't understand it because they haven't had to do it. And I remember when I came to Brisbane, if you see me, you know I'm new, big bags, everything, like I'm fresh. You know, you would know this is fresh meat. looking for trolley. In Korea, you just pick up a trolley. I didn't know I had to pay for it. They even have Australian cash. One white guy, tattoos and everything. I think he travels. As soon as he saw me, he used his own money, brought trolley, gave me. Said, sure, use this. Be careful. Gave me an advice there, which I wouldn't be saying, but gave me an advice that really stuck. Like it really stuck. I could see that this guy is experienced. And there's this song, Travel and See. It is when you travel that you see those realities. That's why when I see Oyibo that are not racist, it's not that there's something inside them that makes them not racist. It's that they've experienced something that caused them to see that there's no need. Because even us, if I've never traveled and I'm back home and I see someone, you're second class. This is my land. How can I share equal rights with you in my own father's land? Right? So it is that mindset. That's why racism is often more prevalent in the outback.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I think it's very important that these things are discussed, because when I hear visa rules, all these things, I feel like the host countries don't understand what they're saying. Like, you don't know what it costs these people to even make that move. It's not just about money. They think, oh, you come here, you work, and you go back home, and you do this and do that. They don't even understand that even those people coming over is at a cost.
Yeah.
But it is the anticipation of a better life that they are here. So I think that is, for the most part, it. Whatever it looks like. Whatever it looks like. But the comments, someone responded and said, your ultimate purpose is not tied to every problem. Yeah, it's not. It's not. Your ultimate goal isn't. Because you've got to, they call it niche now. You've got to find a niche that works for you and stick to it. But yeah, we've hit the 2-hour mark. I think it's been a long conversation. It's past 8 o'clock. Any final words?
I think we summed it up well today.
Summed it up?
Yeah.
But the next one, I'll be digging into that generational wealth thing.
Yeah.
And then maybe from there to spring up things like this travel thing, because I think the travel scenario needs to be dissected well. Like the person in diaspora, because the person in, that one who traveled, it's different for the man as well as for the woman. When the girl child travels, it's different from when the boy child travels. So I think these are things I'll be looking at subsequent. So yeah, stay tuned. By the next conversation, I'll be talking about generational wealth. Generational wealth. I really want to dig into that.
It's a hot topic.
Very hot.
You don't know, say it a man, it check me pockets, man. Real dollar man says it's a hot $1, a $200. Big like the motherfucking $1,000 blazing hot, man. I straight to tell them, spend the money, man. When you mark the man.